everybody, it's Celeste Joan. It is day number 2 of release week. I am so excited. As it is day number 2, it is also the last day to pre-order your copy of All the Way Strong. You can either get it as an ebook, a signed paperback over on my website for people in the US, or as a paperback over on Amazon. All of those links are live. Yes, the paperback is up early. So today's video, to keep going on the release week train of one video every day this week, I'm going to be talking all about my debut novel, All the Way Strong, because, I mean, that's what this week is about. It's about talking about this book, getting the word out there, and just, I'm so excited this is happening. So I have 2 questions that you guys asked, and I have 4 questions that I'm asking myself, just so I get to talk about my book a little bit more. Because guys, I'm so excited to talk about this book. So the first question is, how did you choose to write your characters? And the way I wrote my characters, you know, I was a child when I wrote this book, the first draft of it. I wrote it back in 2013, quite a long time ago. And the way I decided to write my characters was just to like write them as they were my friends. Like not my actual like real life friends, but like just people that I knew. Like I listened to what they were telling me, even though they're fictional, and I just wrote down what they were telling me, if that makes sense. So, you know, like, I wasn't creating their story, I was just telling it. I don't really know if that makes sense, but like, that's how I decided to write my characters. I didn't really base them off of anybody at the time. There are some coincidences to my life and to my characters' lives, but that first draft, I really didn't base it on anyone that I knew, anything that had happened in my life. It just kind of existed, and I decided just to write. So to answer the question, how did I choose to write my characters? I honestly don't know. I think with the first draft, I just wrote them as people. And then going forward from the first draft, I really got into each character's brain, thought about how they would react to different situations and all of that fun stuff. So over the process of the book, they became a lot more three-dimensional. But I really just, you know, I wrote them as people. And then the second question that you guys asked is there a character that represents you, or do you see a little bit of yourself in all of your characters? And it's definitely the second one. I definitely see a lot of myself in all, like spread out through all of my characters. There is one character in this book that I relate most to running wise, and it's not the main character. It's actually her best friend. So one of my main character's best friends, Sierra, is actually who I see the most of myself in for this book, kind of, but also not. Like, there's just certain aspects of me that I see in her. There's certain aspects of me that I see in my main character, Olivia. There's aspects of myself I see in Finn, one of my main character's friends, aspects of myself that I see in Ian. There's also aspects of myself that I see in all of my main character's family members. Like, I see parts of myself everywhere. And I could make a whole video discussing just this one question, because you know, there's so many characters that I have written that I've personally connected with, even if we're not the exact same. And, you know, I shouldn't be the exact same as my characters. There should be a little difference, but it's been really cool to see how like little parts of myself sprinkle in throughout my characters. And for the people who know me personally, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And after you guys read the book, see if there are any aspects of any of my characters that relate to me, I guess, if that makes sense. I would love to know. And the next 4 questions are just general questions over the book. The first one being, who is the main character? Because I feel like that is something important to know before release day. So the main character for this book is a cross-country and track runner. Her name is Olivia Bennett. At the start of this book, she is a junior in high school, a 3rd year in high school. And she's, you know, running on her track and cross-country team and dealing with life. At the start of the season, she started feeling some pain in her right knee, and by the time you guys meet her in the book, she is no longer able to run because her coach says, hey, you're gonna hurt yourself if you don't stop. So she is basically forced to stop, and the book takes off from there. I personally don't have descriptions of my characters in the book, or at least not very in-depth descriptions, and I know that bothers some people, but I mean, I personally can't really like physically see my characters in my head. I just have a vague idea of what they look like. So I roughly know their height in like relation to each other, but not all the time. I know occasionally their hair color, rarely their eye color. Like I don't have that clear image of them in my head. So like it doesn't really come across in the writing. But Olivia Bennett, I did make these cute little bookmarks. Olivia Bennett does have curly blonde hair. And that's about all I've got for her. So Olivia Bennett is my main character for this book. Personality-wise, she tends to put up walls. She tends to not let people know when she's hurting. She just kind of isolates herself and deals with things on her own. And running is like her escape in order to deal with those feelings. But then, you know, she's forced to stop running, so how does she deal with all of these big feelings? You gotta read the book to find out. The next question is, who are the main side characters? And personally, I love the side characters in this book so much. I love all of my side characters in all of my books so much, just because, I don't know, I just love them. So my main character has two best friends. Their names are Ian and Sierra. Ian and Olivia go to the same school. Sierra and Olivia go to the same church, but not the same school. And all three of them are really just best friends with each other. Some other side characters you will meet are Olivia's family. She has her mom, her dad, her older sister Kelsey, her older brother Sean, and then there's Olivia. So Kelsey has a long-term boyfriend. His name is Chris. Kelsey also has a dog, and I don't know what the dog's name is, or if the dog has a name. The dog should have a name. Did I name the dog? Hold on. I did not name the dog. Well, let me know in the comments if you guys have name ideas for Kelsey's dog. And the last main side character you'll meet in the story is Finn. And Finn is currently one of my favorite side characters. Especially in this book, Sierra and Finn are my two favorite side characters. I love them with all of my heart. They are my friends now. They are my friends. I won't tell you guys much about Finn. I can't really tell you guys how Olivia meets Finn because that would be a big spoiler. But Finn is great. Finn is amazing. I think that covers all of the side characters. You know, there is also Coach Reed, Olivia's cross-country and track coach. There are some of her teachers that appear in the book. There's other little side characters, but I think for the main part, those are the main side characters. I definitely had two other things that I wanted to talk about. What were the other questions I had? Main characters, side characters. What else was there? Oh, that's what they were. So the last two questions go hand in hand, and I would love to make a video just about these two questions because there are so many things I could talk about, but I'll do that after the book comes out so I don't really spoil anything. So the next question I have is, what is something from the first draft that made it all the way into the last draft? So the final draft, like this final form of my book. What is something that made it from draft one all the way to the end? I'm actually going to name three things for each of these. So one thing, my main character's first name stayed the same. Her name stayed as Olivia throughout the entire thing, which is not normal. I tend to change names for my characters in books, but Olivia and Sierra stayed the same. Ian's name went through quite a few changes. I honestly don't remember what his name used to be. It might have started out as Ian and then changed to something else and then changed around again. But Olivia's name stayed the same throughout the entire time I was writing this book. Another thing that stayed the same throughout the entire book is that Olivia is a pastor's kid. Her dad is a pastor. So that stayed the same throughout the entire writing process. Never really went away. Wasn't even a question if it would go away. It was going to be in there. And another thing that stayed the same is... honestly, so much has changed throughout this book. But the third thing that stayed the same is that Olivia had two best friends, Sierra and Ian. Don't really remember what their names were before, but she has always had those two best friends. Sierra and Ian were in draft one. Sierra and Ian are in the final draft. They have been there throughout. And the question that goes hand in hand with that is, what are some things that have changed from draft one to the final draft? So one big thing that has changed is that the book used to take place in Florida. The book now takes place in Ohio, so that's a big change. One thing that didn't make it into the book was the romance subplot. There was so much romance going on in book one. There was a love triangle, there was an abusive relationship, there was a lot going on in book one, and I would love to make another video talking about all of these things. But yeah, there was some romances that did not make it into the final draft. They were cut in draft two. No romance made it past draft two. And the third thing that changed and did not make it into the final book is the point of views of this book. So draft one originally had 3 first-person points of view, one from Olivia's point of view, one from Sierra's point of view, and one from Ian's point of view. Each of those 3 characters were all main characters. They all had their main plot going on, and there was a point of view for each one of them. That was a lot. And the final draft now just has Olivia's point of view. Not to say that the side characters don't still have stories happening to them. Ian has a side plot of his own. Sierra doesn't at this time, but she does have her own book that may or may not be published later. That book is very, very personal, and I don't know if I'll ever publish it, but she does have her own book later on, so she's not just like the side character there for comedic relief. She has her own life. It just happens a little bit later. Lots of things changed from draft 1 to the final draft, but it's all for the better because here we are with the final draft of All the Way Strong coming out tomorrow. My gosh. This book is coming out tomorrow. Again, if you haven't already, you are still able to pre-order and buy the book. You can get it as an ebook over on Amazon. It will be on Kindle Unlimited. You can get it as a paper book over on Amazon. The link is live early. You can get it as a paperback over on Amazon. The link is live early, and you can get it as a signed copy if you are in the US over on my website. I have not received the copies that I will sign quite yet, but as soon as I get those copies, I will sign them and send them out to all of you. And I'm so excited. I'm just very excited for you all to be able to read this book. It has been a long, long time coming. Today is the last day before I am a published author, which is so weird to say. But I am so excited for you guys to read this book, and thank you all so much for supporting me, being on this journey with me, just all of the things. Thank you guys so much. My acknowledgements page is like a page front and back. It's long, but I had to say thank you because I didn't do this on my own, and it's just been a crazy ride. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more content from me. I have videos coming out every single day this week to celebrate release week, and I will see you guys all hopefully tomorrow with the debut novel tag. It was so much fun to answer those questions and film, and you get a little glimpse into the next book that is coming in November of this year. So thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all hopefully tomorrow. Bye!